Sama Om Shubhadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shante Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Vishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Vishatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhayeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tatakancha Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabandhu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you all for coming to our discussion on outreach within reach, outreach with Inreach.
咁好歡迎大家今日嚟到參加我哋呢一個講座啦。咁今日嘅講座嘅題目咧就係關於自我成長嘅，即係 Inreach。咁同一時間咧又配合呢個 outreach， 即係我哋開拓呢個社群或者我哋嘅傳教嘅工作咯。
Yes, the title of our discussion may be explanation.
咁我哋今日嘅講座嘅題目可能需要講解一下意思係乜嘢。
It's a bit of a play on words.
咁英文嗰個題目咧係有少少好似玩文字嘅。
It comes. I started thinking about this. I think it was 2 years ago in Mayapur. They were having many seminars. ISKCON leaders summed up, and many of the seminars were about outreach.
咁點解會有呢一個嘅諗法咧？就係2年前咧，我係喺馬雅湖嗰度咧參加嗰個領袖嘅一啲嘅研討會咁樣啦。咁喺會議裏面咧，好多時候咧嘅主題咧都係圍繞去到傳教嘅，即係對外嘅傳教工作。
And I was thinking in my rebellious way, what about Inreach?
咁於是我就好反叛咁樣，我就諗啦，咁對內嘅傳教咧
What about going within? We're always talking about going out. What about going within?
咁我哋成日都講要出去咁但係我哋向內探索咧，去向內咧。
Isn't spiritual life something about our inner life?
咁其實靈修嘅生活咧，其實係關注我哋內在嘅呢個生命。
So anyway, the title in English, for those familiar, may sort of get the point. There's a message in the madness.
咁我哋去到設計呢一個題目嘅時候，係有個信息想帶出嚟嘅。
That in order to be successful in doing outreach, which we often use the word preaching, mission, to be successful.
如果我哋想去對外面嘅呢啲嘅工作，或者係我哋要傳教嘅工作成功嘅話咧
To bring the outreach within reach, that is to say, to make it realizable or accessible.
咁所以個標題另外一個意思就係令到呢一個嘅對外嘅傳教嘅工作係能夠實現到嘅，係可觸及嘅。咁我哋就
The starting point is inside.
所以一開始要做到呢樣嘢之前咧，就係由裏面開始。
Or put it another way, where are we reaching out from?
咁當我哋去到出去做呢個傳教嘅工作嘅時候，我哋係由邊度開始咧
We don't know where we're reaching out from. How are we going to do that?
所以如果我哋冇一個駐腳點嘅話，咁我哋點樣去到出去咧
Yeah. So we were just discussing yesterday, there's some need for more devotees.
咁我哋琴日討論到，需要更加多嘅奉獻者。
We say in English, in a slightly gross way, we say there's need for fresh blood.
咁英文有個講法就係要啲新血，要啲新血。
Sounds like vampires.
好似吸血
Vampires
吸血
society.
鬼咁。
Anyway. So I was thinking, all right, maybe to be successful, I could, or to help in being successful for the preaching mission, we could reflect together something on the subject of reaching in.
咁所以如果當我哋想我哋向外嘅呢啲傳教工作啦，或者我哋啲使命嘅工作去到成功嘅話咧，我哋首先向內去到探索。
And the general area that I thought we could look at is our personal experience with the notion of value.
咁如果我哋廣泛啲嚟睇嘅話，我哋首先可以去到檢查一下我哋自己嘅一啲嘅個人嘅體驗啦，或者我哋自己嘅一啲價值觀。
And in Sanskrit, we have a word for value, which you know, it's artha,
咁喺梵文裏面有一個字咧係解作咧係價值嘅，就叫 artha。
So I want to talk a little bit about something else you're probably familiar with, namely the idea of purusha artha.
咁我想帶出一個概念咧，就係可能大家都熟悉嘅，就叫做 purusha artha。
And I haven't decided yet whether to start with this, with the theory, or to do some action first.
咁我就諗緊，我哋先開始講一啲理論啦，定係可能做一啲練習先？
Maybe I'll start with more theory first, because it could be that someone else is still on their way.
咁可能仲有啲奉獻者嚟緊啦，咁我哋可以再講多少少理論。
And this means I get to have a little bit of exercise.
我要做少少運動。
So, all right, we have this word artha.
咁我哋有呢一個字 artha 價值。
And this will get combined often with the word purusha, which can mean male, as in male, female.
咁佢經常呢個字咧會同另外一個字就 purusha 咧連埋一齊嘅。咁 purusha 咧可以解作為男性啦。
But in this context, it means human being.
咁但係如果喺呢一個嘅呢個層面裏面咧，佢嘅意思咧 purusha 咧即係解人類。
Okay, very quickly, what are the 4 purusharthas?
咁我哋4個主要嘅 purushartha 係邊4個？ The 4.
There's 4 of them. No, purusharthas. Sanskrit words.
經濟發展、宗教、
That's the essence of it.
Oh.
Dharma, karma, moksha.
Moksha. All right. I was getting worried there. Now, usually we will kind of list them one after another. Moksha like this, or like this. But I'm going to do something a little different.
咁我哋一般咧會可能橫列式咁樣列出嚟個4項啦，或者直列式啦。但我今日會有少少唔同嘅嗰個寫法。
We'll put dharma here. We'll put artha here. And we'll put kama here.
咁上面嗰個就係我哋嘅叫宗教嘅職責啦、經濟發展啦、慾望啦、享樂啦、moksha， 之後解脫。
All right, and everybody knows more or less what these terms mean.
大家知唔知道呢幾個字嘅意思？
Some may not. Okay, now very briefly, dharma usually could be translated as religion or duty.
咁 dharma 咧一般可以翻譯為咧宗教或者職責。
Artha in this context is going to mean economy or wealth.
咁 artha 喺呢度嘅含義咧就係經濟啦或者財富。
Kama has a range of meanings. Very broadly, it just means desire.
咁如果 karma 好廣義嚟講咧，就係慾望嘅意思。
And moksha means 1, 2, 3.
Liberation. moksha 就係解脫。
Okay, now if you've been around for a while, around this clip, you will have heard of a fifth Purusha Artha.
咁如果你喺呢度混咗一段時間嘅話咧，你知道會有第5個 Purushartha 嘅。
Right? Prema. Okay. He said a little bit cautiously. Prema, which means Krishna Prema. Actually, yes. What does prema mean?
咁 prema 嘅意思係乜嘢？
Love, love, love. Right? Okay.
係。
Where shall we put prema in relation to these?
咁 prema 同埋其他4個之間嘅關係，我哋應該將佢擺邊一個位置咧 ？In the middle.
Middle. Everybody agrees?
Yeah.
On the top. In the middle. Huh? Okay, let's try putting it in the middle.
將佢試下將 prema 擺喺中間。
Prema. Yes, the Sanskrit, the term is prema pumarto mahan. So the word Krishna doesn't come there. But the great artha, the great value for humans, whom is prema.
咁所以對於人類嚟講，一個更加高嘅價值就係 prema。
All right, let's put a circle around. And then let's connect this circle to Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha.
咁我哋喺 prema 嗰度畫一個圈啦，跟住然之後咧將有4條線啦，連接另外4個價值。
Now, does this give you a little bit of a hint of what I'm getting at about relationships of these 5 Purusharthas?
咁當我畫咗呢個圖之後，大家會唔會有多啲嘅概念，知道佢哋之間5個 Purushartha 之間嘅關係咧？
How is this different from what we usually do? We put Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, and then we probably put prema up on top.
咁我哋一般個擺法就會係Dharma 啦、Artha、Kama、Moksha， 即係排列式嘅，然之後將 prema 擺喺最上面。
We might put Moksha on the top of. We might say Moksha, Dharma, Artha, Kama, and then put prema on top.
又或者我哋將愛擺喺最高啦，然之後下面係解脫啦，呢一個嘅職責啦、經濟發展同埋慾望。
Normally, realistically, the notion of sequential order, when it starts with establishing the Dharma, then the specific Artha, and Kama, finally when you get the Moksha, then you're out of there. That's kind of the idea that you're available for prema. So there's a notion of sequence.
There's a notion of sequence and progression, and first you have to get over all of those, and then you can start talking about prema.
咁所以我哋一般嘅時候會有一種有個順序嘅，即係你要得到呢一啲嘅以上面所有，跟住最後你先至可以得到 prema。
Okay, but this doesn't seem to give so much that idea, does it?
但如果當我哋個圖咁樣畫嘅時候，就同頭先我哋一般嘅理解嗰個排列嘅方式就唔同。
Seems like you get the middle, you get everything all of the 4 also.
好似個意思係咪話，如果你得到 prema 嘅話，其他嗰4樣嘢都已經涵蓋咗啦。
You get everything, huh?
But I think we still have
That's
to go
starting
to.
to look more interesting, huh?
I think one still have to go to the dharmic part, the dharma part.
Yeah. Well, let's do another thing here. Let's add some arrows and see what that does.
咁我哋加啲箭嘴，睇下有啲咩變化。
Does that say anything to us? Maybe.
Yes. Yes.
won't say much more about this yet. I think we want to reflect on this.
咁我就唔會講到好詳細嘅而家，但係我哋可以一齊去到即係去審視一下呢一個部分。
But one thing I want to say in context of Inreach, is as we have sort of graphically here, we may say that all of us we're somewhere orbiting around here.
但係我哋可以即係反思一下，當我哋去睇到呢一個圖嘅時候，當我哋講到 Inreach 即係去到探索自己啦，我哋可能喺呢一個嘅族裡面嘅某一點。
Sometimes we feel kind of dharmic.
有時你覺得自己好似履行緊自己嘅職責。
Sometimes we're earning money and getting super rich.
我有時可能要揾錢啦，然之後變成好有錢啦，超級有財富。我哋可能少少錢。
Sometimes there just might be a little something that we kind of would really like to do.
咁有時可能做緊自己中意做嘅嘢。
And sometimes we might feel kind of detached and different.
咁有時候可能就會好似抽離咗嘅一個角色。
But also, I want to start with the word moksha to say that we could look at this in a broader sense than we usually do. Moksha.
我哋可以睇 moksha 睇呢個解脫咧，可以更加廣嘅一個層面。
Sometimes the word moksha is translated as liberation.
咁有時 moksha 咧會翻譯成為解脫。
And another word in English is freedom.
咁另外喺個英文裏面有一個字咧叫做 freedom， 即係自由。
And freedom turns out to be a hugely popular value in public life.
咁喺我哋嘅公共嘅生活裏面，自由呢個字係即係越嚟越重視。
And as one philosopher pointed out, I think it was a 20th century philosopher, he said there's two kinds of freedom.
咁20世紀有一位哲學家佢曾經提出過有兩種嘅自由嘅。
There's freedom from whatever, X, Y, Z, and there's freedom to X, Y, Z.
咁一個咧就係從某一度得到嘅呢一個自由啦，而另外一個就係好似向往去達到嗰個自由。
Yeah, there's a kind of negative freedom and a positive freedom.
一種嘅自由咧就係比較係負面嘅，即係你從嗰個方向，譬如好似你有啲嘢你唔想做，咁你就唔需要做嗰樣嘢，得到嗰種自由。有一種自由就你去想做嘅一啲嘢，即係比較係積極嘅，一種比較消極嘅。
If someone has been in prison, they are released from prison, they're liberated.
咁譬如好似一個人去坐監嘅話，佢放監啦，咁佢就覺得得到自由，從監獄嗰度即係釋放出嚟。
If you have some debt, you've bought a house or apartment and you have to pay the debt, and then you finish paying the debt, then you are free from the debt.
咁譬如可能你供緊樓啦，咁你供完啦，咁你就冇即係一身輕啦，唔需要再孭住啲債。
You're liberated.
咁係嗰一種第一種嘅自由就係呢種嘅自由啦。
In this latter case, we could speak of moksha in relation to artha, freedom from debt.
咁所以譬如解脫啦，同埋呢個財富咧，佢哋之間嘅關係就可以同頭先嗰種方式去到演繹咯，即係唔需要再去肩負呢啲嘅財務嘅責任。
Okay. Well, we're putting prajna in the center because, after all, this is what we understand in our tradition of Vaishnava culture, practice, philosophy. This is the purpose of life. This is the main value, artha.
咁 咁所以喺我哋嘅 Vaishnava 嘅修習啦，我哋嘅生命啦、文化裏面咧，我哋將咧prema 咧係視為咧係最終嘅一個我哋人生嘅一個目標嚟嘅。
But prema has, there's a sense of privacy and intimacy in love. Because when you think of intense love, that's not something that's just out there in public.
當我哋去到諗愛 prema 嘅時候咧，我哋可以諗一諗，因為呢一種愛咧係有一種親密嘅程度，所以唔係一種公開嘅一種嘅展現嚟嘅。
So, for example, one time Srila Prabhupada was speaking with he had a special group of devotees called Bhakti Vedanta Institute. These are scientists, devotees, and he told them, your job, your duty is to preach that life comes from life.
咁舉一個例子就係聖泡泡咧，佢有一次面對一班Bhakti Vedanta學院嘅呢啲嘅奉獻者啦，咁佢哋係科學家嚟嘅，然之後泡泡就同佢哋講啦，你哋嘅職責咧係去到傳播呢個信息，就係生命源自生命。
And our worship of Radha and Krishna, that is our private affair.
但係咧，我哋去到崇拜 Radha 同埋 Krishna 咧，係我哋自己私人嘅私人嘅事嚟嘅。
In other words, he was telling them, don't go out there, you're scientists, don't go and try to convince people to worship Radha and Krishna. Just try to get them to appreciate that life comes from life.
咁所以佢話，因為你哋係科學家啦，所以你哋唔好諗住自己出去就同其他人去到傳播，就話傳教，就話你哋要去到崇拜 Radha Krishna。你哋嘅職責咧就係去到說服佢哋生命源自生命。
So prema is, I'm putting in the center, that's our special private sphere in the community of Vaishnavas.
咁所以 prema 咧係我哋 Vaishnava 嘅社群裏面啦一個好私密嘅地方嚟嘅。
But at the same time, our whole mission is following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is out in the streets chanting the holy name.
咁但係同一時間，我哋都跟隨住Chaitanya Mahaprabhu嘅使命啦，我哋去到街上面去到齊眾聖名。
So if we think of outreach, then maybe we now have to make some more arrows like this.
咁所以當我哋諗到去傳教嘅時候，我哋嗰度就會加啲向外嘅箭嘴。
And as we go outward, we meet all kinds of people who are engaged in what?
當我哋出到去遇到唔同嘅人嘅時候，佢哋會從事唔同嘅活動。
They're engaged in dharma, artha, kama.
咁佢哋可能會做緊一啲履行職責啦，追求財富啦，滿足慾望啦，或者追求解脫嘅呢啲活動。
In Hong Kong, especially.
咁喺香港咧，尤其是係追求財富，就係經濟發展。
All right, let's just read that for a few minutes.
咁我哋先將頭先講嗰啲嘢擺一擺低。Leave it.
Okay, now it's time to get out the paper.
咁而家我哋就可以攞出紙同埋筆。
Because now we want to do a little bit of self-reflecting.
咁我哋可以做一啲自我嘅一啲可能一啲反思。
Can we take notes on that piece of stuff?
No, this is something you need paper. And before you fold it, could I have one sheet also?
接。
So I noticed that some of you are already folding the paper in the wrong way. And I notice most of you are holding it like this, portrait. But what I want you to do is turn it this way.
咁想大家將嗰張紙咁樣擺。
And if you really want to fold it,
真係好想接佢嘅話，
fold it this way.
咁樣接法。
You don't have to fold it.
唔一定要嘅，唔一定要嘅。
But what I want you to do is draw a straight line from the left to the right, not quite to the very end.
咁咧就由左至右或者右至左畫一條線啦，但係就唔好畫到去盡頭嗰度，留翻少少空
Just
間。
draw a straight
就
line.
畫一條直線。
All right, we got our lines.
係好條線。
So now you may be wondering, what is this?
咁你會諗緊究竟要做啲乜嘢咧？
This is your life.
呢個就係你嘅生命線啦，
Your lifeline.
你嘅生命線。
So on the left end, you can make a little circle.
喺最左手邊咧，佢畫個圓圈，畫個
End of the line.
喺條線嘅即係開始左手邊嗰度畫個圓圈。
And now you can write there the date of your birth.
然之後寫低你出生嘅日期，
Something everybody knows.
大家都知道啩？
Now comes the question. What do we do with the other end of the line?
接落嚟嘅問題就係我哋整翻嗰啲生命線嗰啲部分，我哋做
And here I have some good news for you.
點樣用？Here
Here,
有個好消息同大家講。
Lord Brahma has decided to bless us all today.
咁咧，主 Brahma 咧今日嚟到去到給予我哋祝福。
Each of us get a lifetime of 100 years.
每個人嘅壽命可以去到100歲，
Even if you don't want it.
就算你唔想要。
My savings are enough.
So the end of the line is the date that
It's 100 years.
after.
即係假設有100年嘅生命，
Let's imagine that it's 100 years later.
我哋可以想象一下
We'll
100
be generous to ourselves. Okay?
歲命。
2070.
Yeah. Now, proportionally, find the mark along this line that would be today, today's date.
Somewhere approximately.
咁大概揾一點，即係嗰條線上面嘅一點，你大概今日呢個日子。
You're somewhere.
I put a circle.
You can put a little vertical mark if you
可能
like,
畫一個
or a circle, or both,
畫個圓圈啊，或者畫一條線，即係一點咁樣嗰度。
or a triangle, or a little cloud. Okay. So here we are. We have our whole lifetime. We're looking at our life
咁我
on
哋
this paper.
而家一齊睇呢張紙上面審視我哋嘅人生，
And what do we see?
我哋見到啲乜嘢？
So, from the time of your birth up to the present, think about what have been some significant moments in your life. It may be just 2 or 3 moments, but you can mark those also as having been at certain times. And then make a note, what was that thing that you considered significant?
咁我哋喺嗰個生命線上面咧，然之後 我哋可以回憶一下我哋人生到到而家為止有啲咩重大嘅事情發生過，即係好重要嘅事情喺人生裏面。然之後咧然之後就刻喺嗰條線上面，然之後寫一個簡單可能1-2個字咁樣係發生咗咩事咯。
Now, if it helps you, you may think in terms of your personal life, that is, you by yourself, or your family and immediate friends, something that has impacted you significantly, or perhaps something more to do with, let's say, public, professional, the public or professional you. So the significant moments could fall into any of these categories.
咁你可以去到諗嘅時候，可以由你自己嘅個人嘅生活啦，然之後你嘅家庭朋友嘅生活啦，或者你可能係對外嘅你嘅專業啊，或者你可能社交啊，你嘅嗰個圈子啊嘅一啲重要嘅事情啦。
So you might also want to think about significant moments as in terms of accomplishments, significant accomplishments.
或者可能你可以另一個角度就諗，就係你喺人生裏面一啲好重大嘅成就。
Thinking back in time.
穿越時空回到過去。
Background thinking music.
俾啲背景音樂大家。
How are we doing? Everybody's getting something? Do you need more time?
需唔需要多啲時間？定係
After you've noted some significant moments or accomplishments, you could note on the other side of the sheet, you could note why these are significant to you.
咁所以當你諗到自己喺人生裏邊一啲好重要嘅時刻啦，或者一啲好重要嘅成就啦，然之後請你哋喺嗰張紙嘅背面啦，去寫低可能好簡短咁樣，點解呢啲事情對你咁重要
Sorry, where's the book? Where's the book?
On the opposite side of the paper. Yeah. Don't worry, you don't have to then share this with all of us. This is just for you.
唔使真係唔使即係分享俾所有人嘅，你自己。
Although it could also be nice that we share with one other person.
咁我哋可以同對一個人或者兩個人，大家互相去分享都可以。
In fact, maybe that's what we should do. Before writing why something is significant to us, we could discuss. You could speak in pairs of two or pairs of three. No. Pair of three. Why?
咁佢可能兩個人一組，或者三個人一隊一組。
We just invented a new possibility.
一隊咁兩個人或者三個人可以一齊分享。
Not to trade, but to sit and talk.
咁就係兩個人坐埋，跟住一齊去到分享。
Yes. Find someone.
兩個或者三個咁樣一組，我哋可以拎住自己張紙俾你分享。
Two brothers. They know each other so well. There's nothing to talk about. He doesn't want to talk to you.
passed away. I go back to the It's the best time. Good time, the best time, the best moment. From here to here. And then from here to here is another bad chapter. It's so bad, but compared to here, it's not yeah, from showering. And then from here to here, oh man, it was very good. Yeah. And then I need to hold calls. It's a good chocolate. And then from here to here, actually, it's a learning experience. Number 4. This part. A great learning experience. Okay? Show me yours. Where's Mark's?
Born here.
There's too much ecstasy. Okay. Was this what was the point here? Why are we doing this?
咁點解我哋做頭先嗰個練習咧
Any ideas? Yes, Tom?
Possibly to recognize the pattern of the cycle here, right?
Patterns. Okay.
咁我哋可以從頭先嘅討論裏面咧，我哋可以揾到一個模式。頭先馬哈書一開始嘅時候講過啲嗰五個呢啲嘅價值，有個模式。
Yes, pattern of what?
咁係一種咩嘅模式咧？
What okay, a hint. Remember the word artha. What does it mean?
咁記唔記得 alpha 嘅意思係乜嘢咧？價值。
Okay, so maybe patterns of values or development of our values.
咁可能我哋揾到我哋一啲價值觀嘅一種嘅模式啦，或者一種發展啊。
There's this saying in English, today is the first day of the rest of your life.
咁英文有一種講法就話，今日係你人生裏邊嘅第一日。
So remember, Lord Brahma has been very generous. He's giving us all 100 years.
咁主 Brahma 好大方、好慷慨，俾咗我哋每個人有100歲命。
It's not mentioned.
We're negotiating.
係咪健康嘅100歲？嗰個就唔知啦。
So now the next thing we want to ask ourselves is, in the remaining time that we have, what would we like to happen? What would we like to experience? What would we like to accomplish? Now, I know you're all going to say, I want to reach Krishna Prema. That's fine. But if you could be a bit more specific.
咁可以仔細少少啦，即係我哋可能每一個人嘅願望就係希望去獲得 Krishna Prema 啦。咁但係我哋餘下嘅人生裏面，我哋有啲咩我哋想去到經歷，去到達到嘅咧
And notice the idea of having some aim. For one thing, it's pursuing the principle that Srila Prabhupada would so many times ask, kind of rhetorically, what is the aim of your life?
咁所以有時聖爸爸要好似用一個反問嘅語氣去問我哋啦，究竟你人生嘅目標係乜嘢咧
But also, it brings in the notion of choice.
同一時間你都帶出一個信息就係選擇。
The idea that we can make choices.
就係我哋可以去到做選擇嘅。
The opposite of a chooser is a drifter.
咁所以一個人佢可以做選擇啦，但係如果相反嘅話，佢就係聽天由命。
You know what a drifter is? Drifter. If there's a boat, if there's a boat out here in the harbor and somehow its rope to the harbor gets cut, then it is drifting.
好似隨波逐流，隨波逐流。
That's just the way the current going with the flow. Okay, so we want to look at this remaining time and see if you can write something down, something specific.
54 years.
You got plenty of time.
Yeah.
咁我哋睇下我哋剩翻呢個人生，譬如我哋有啲咩想去做嘅，想去到達到嘅，咁啦，我寫啲嘢出嚟。
Now, you may want to think of this in terms of what you would like to experience.
你想體驗嘅東西啦。
What you would like to witness, something you would like to see happen. Maybe it's just something in the world.
或者你想去到見證嘅一啲嘢，想呢個世界上面發生嘅一啲事。
Yeah, you want, or something you want to, something to happen, some event to take place.
或者你可能想某一啲嘅event 一啲事情啦，你想係佢發生嘅。
Okay. This is a little more challenging. You may want to start with something more immediate. In the next year, I want to do something.
咁可以由我哋可能呢一年啦，我哋想去到成就嘅一啲嘢啦。 即係個時間慢慢推演去到將來咯。
And you may want to think, so after I've accomplished that, after one or within 1 year, then what?
咁譬如我呢一年裏面想完成咗呢一啲事，咁完成咗啦，之後下一步係乜嘢咧？
Okay. So again, meditation time.
我哋一齊冥想一下。
This is a chance to make the impossible become possible.
咁所以當我哋做呢個練習嘅時候，其實就係希望將啲不可能變成可能。
So think big.
可以諗得大啲呢個
You can also another way to put it is to ask yourself questions starting with what if.
咁可以我哋做呢個練習嘅時候，可以問自己：如果
What if
如果
such and such would be possible?
如果呢啲事情係可能嘅，係做得到嘅。 進行成點樣？
This has become quite a meditative exercise, it looks like.
大家都好投入喺個冥想當中。
Yeah. Of course, this is not something you have to finish just now.
咁唔係話要而家就要完成嘅。
Now, remember, Lord Brahman has been very generous. He's giving us 100 years life.
咁我哋知道主 Brahma 好仁慈，好大方，俾咗我哋100年、100歲。
But Lord Brahma has been known to change his mind.
不過主 Brahma 另外好為人所熟悉嘅就係佢好容易改變主意。
So, what if the amount of time between the present day and the 100-year mark in your life, instead of being that, would be half of that? What if it would be reduced? Let's say you are, let's say you're 40 years old, so you have 60 more years. What if that would suddenly become not 60 but 30? How would this change? Would this change your ideas, what you want to do?
咁譬如可能你嘅再生之年嗰個時間，可能你而家可能係40歲嘅，你再60歲啊嘛，每100年嘅話，而家就 cut 一半，即係剩翻30年咯。咁你會唔會頭先你所諗嘅呢啲嘅計劃會有改變咧
Shorter plan.
Shorter plan. Have to do everything fast. Yes.
Just in case.
Yes, you have to have plan B.
Well, so far 15 years.
Now, what if Lord Brahman gets again a little bit shaky in his determination, and again he reduces, and this time it's down from 60 to 30, from 30 to 15.
Oh, that's it.
咁如果再短啲，佢得翻15年，即係頭先嗰30年再 cut 多一半，得翻15年。
Maybe another life. Try my best. Again, you reset again. Try my best.
Okay. And what if it was not 15 years, but 7.5? And of course, now we're all laughing, but how much time did Maharaj Parikshit have? He had 7 days.
咁所以我哋可能而家喺度笑啦，但係我哋知道 Parikshit 王其實得7日啫。
Okay, so what's the point of all of this?
咁點解我頭先要不斷咁慢慢即係
This
搞嗰
idea
啲
of
連
pattern
數？
has come out. Tom has mentioned pattern.
頭先咧 Tom Prabhu 咧佢提過咧個叫做模式，有一種模式。
What else might we find from this exercise?
咁我哋透過呢一個練習會發現到啲乜嘢
Okay,
咧？
priorities.
我哋要將啲嘢要有優先，要有優先次序。
What else? Anything else? What about, huh? Go ahead.
Am I living and doing things that I want, that I desire, what I actually
Okay.
咁個練習幫助我去到諗，究竟我係咪做緊我自己想做嘅嘢咧？
Or the question might be, am I on track?
咁另外一個問題可以問自己就係我係咪喺嗰個軌道上面，定係脱軌？
This whole exercise, you might wonder how does this relate to our culture of Krishna consciousness? When we understand, we take shelter of Guru, we say, I surrender, that's it, now my life is yours.
咁有時候會有一個人會咁諗法，就係譬如我哋Krishna 之國裏面嘅文化啦，我哋託俾咗靈性導師啦，咁我哋去歸依啦，然之後我哋就屬於靈性導師。
There's an expression in Shastra, the idea of feeling oneself like a sold-out animal. The animal is just ensouled and it's going to be taken to its new owner, no control.
咁就好似一個被販賣嘅一頭動物啦，咁咧就被帶到去到一個新主人嗰度，冇任何嘅選擇餘地。
So how does that fit in with what we're doing here? We're talking about planning and choosing and deciding and being determined and making choices.
咁我哋頭先一直去到做一啲嘅計劃啦，去到做一啲決定啦，或者我哋嘅做一啲選擇啦，兩者之間點樣去到聯繫咧？
Well, I would say one thing is, yes, the Guru is getting us on track, putting us on the high road.
咁所以靈性導師我就會講就係佢好似將我哋擺喺嗰個軌道上面，喺呢個high road 就高速公路嗰度。
And pointing the way.
然之後咧向我哋指住個方向。
And showing us a map.
然之後展示俾我哋睇一幅地圖。
With various landmarks along the way.
咁喺呢一個路上面咧有好多唔同嘅地標。
But then we have to make the journey.
但係我哋要自己去到經歷呢個旅程。
It's not a free ride.
所以唔係免費嘅，唔係免費車嚟嘅。
Just hop on the wagon, sit back, and sip our Chinese tea or something.
又唔係坐上車跟住就嘆茶，係咁樣。
Herbal tea.
呢個herbal tea 花草茶。
Okay, so we're still making choices.
咁所以我哋依然係做緊選擇嘅。
And we may want to say it becomes all the more significant that we are making choices. Why? Because we're making choices to get to that inner part of this circle.
咁我哋做選擇啦，呢啲選擇非常之重要嘅，因為呢啲選擇會決定我哋帶我哋進入呢個圓嘅中心。
Okay, another thing we may reflect on is the idea of success and failure.
咁我哋另外一個可以諗嘅就係成功同埋失敗。
What constitutes success? What constitutes failure? And how do we feel about both of these?
咁我哋有講成功啦，有講失敗啦。其實佢哋係乜嘢去到構成嘅咧？我哋面對成功失敗嘅時候，有啲咩嘅感受咧？
Is one form of success actually a deeper form of failure? Is one form of failure a deeper form of success?
咁或者會唔會可能係成功，但係其實如果更加深刻去睇嘅時候，其實係一種失敗嚟嘅，或者可能表面上睇起嚟係失敗，但係更深刻嘅話，其實係一種成功。
Okay, now I have another exercise for you.
好，跟住
This is a little bit challenging.
接住落嚟個練習係少挑戰性嘅。
We want you each to write your autobiography. And you have exactly 8 words to do it with.
咁咧只可以用8個字去寫一個自我傳記、個人傳記。
It's like Japanese haiku.
8 words.
8 words.
8個字。
You know this Japanese form of poetry called haiku?
咁日本呢嗰啲詩有一種嘅形式啊。
They have, I think, 17 syllables.
有17個音字。
So 8 words, your whole life.
用8個字概括你嘅一生。 8个字。
This is like a sutra. Sutra.
好似寫個詩字出嚟，寫個 sutra 出嚟，寫一段經文出嚟。
The 8 words they can be nouns, they can be verbs, they can be adjectives, they can be adverbs, or a mixture of any of these.
咁所以係可以動詞啊、名詞啊、形容詞啊、副詞啊，或者
numbers or
因為中文英文一個字，我哋中文可能2個字一個詞語㗎嘛。
This is going to be written
on your tombstone.
On your tombstone.
哇！會寫喺你嘅墓碑上面，有冇發現？
It could be in the form of a yantra. Yeah, 8 words on 8 corners of a yantra.
好似啲佢哋講啲白話咁樣，即係8個位置，有啲8個字。即係佢就好似個八角形咁樣，即係8個字冇連貫性。唔想我諗係個展示個詞式，即係可能除咗打直咁樣寫打橫寫之外，可以有啲形狀。
That's 8 words.
Yeah,
Enough.
very nice.
Tom got it already.
I limited my expectations.
Okay.
What did you say? You got it.
Word number 5. Yes, got it? Huh? Look up. If you knew I was going to put you to so much work, you wouldn't have come.
都知道有咁多嘢做就唔嚟。
Jessica, you got something?
諗到啲字啊，諗到啲心呢度。
Yeah. Good. Okay. Maybe if you're not done, you can work on this later.
咁如果未完成嘅話，可以之後再繼續。
An interesting additional exercise you can do on your own is to write your own, what is it called? Not epitaph. Like you're writing, what's the word?
Eulogy?
Huh?
Eulogy?
Not a eulogy, but when someone dies, you write their story,
福文啊，
their life story.
嗰啲叫咩？墓誌
In
銘。
memoriam.
墓誌銘，墓誌銘。
No, there's a word.
墓誌銘。
So it's something you can do is you can write what you would like that someone would write about you after you're finished.
咁所以諗下自己離開咗之後，所以人哋點樣去幫你寫啲文章關於你。
We won't do that now. Yeah.
It's your Chinese New Year.
So at the present you're doing, you're acting, so that someone write that.
Whatever you would like to be written about you.
咁你想人哋點樣寫你咯？
I mean, presumably you'd want it to be somewhat true.
你想寫嘅嘢係真㗎啦，即係唔係去諷刺你嘅。唔係㗎。
Does anyone want to share your 8-word autobiography?
有冇人想分享一下你頭先寫過8個字？
No.
Naturally.
No. About yours.
Black.
Saved by the contract.
講開都夠咗我哋。
Nobody wants to share.
有冇人想分享？
Okay, Tom, we can always,
Happy to
share.
share.
Down.
John Warrior's very close. Pushed out and running late, but catching up.
Pushed out and running late, but catching up. Wow, it's 8 words.
Jai.
Do you want to give a purport to that?
可唔可以重複多次
Purport
佢
would be my the in memoriam.
Running late but catching up. The first part is
Do you want to repeat for translation?
Push out
push out。
and running late.
好似被推出去，然之後跑得好慢，遲咗，跑遲咗，
But catching up.
但係就努力去到追上，後來追
It's
上
a。lot more words in one. Okay.
追翻上，
用跑埋嚟講。
係啦，去追上，努力追上。
首先俾人追上嘅話，後尾就係馬跑翻翻。
So you may have felt somewhat intimidated by this exercise.
咁你可能好驚去做呢個練習嘅時候，
Chinese New Year.
Because naturally we feel like, how could we possibly concentrate our whole life into 8 words.
我哋會諗我哋點樣可以將我哋一生濃縮成為8個字。
But it forces us to think about what's important.
但係同一時間亦都逼使我哋去到諗究竟乜嘢係最重要。
What is important for us?
我哋覺得乜嘢先至係重要。
Okay, so time flies when you're having a good time. So I want to just consider briefly a little more about value and values, artha.
咁所以我哋時間流逝啦，我哋就翻去頭先我講到嘅呢一個嘅 artha 個價值嗰度。
And if we look at this chart again, we can see this applies to everyone. They're called purusharthas. So everyone, this is something everyone has. We all have some concern for dharma, some concern for artha, some concern for kama, and some concern for moksha.
咁所以當我哋睇呢一個嘅圖嘅時候，其實係適用於所有人嘅，因為每一個人都可能追求某一啲嘅 dharma、某一啲嘅職責啦，或者某一啲嘅財富、某一啲嘅慾望或者解脫。
And there's a kind of completeness in these 4 elements of artha.
咁呢4個 artha 裏面咧，佢哋係有一個圓滿嘅一個嘅狀態嘅。
And we might say, if we individually or collectively neglect any one or more than one of these, we might experience some sort of imbalance.
咁如果我哋任何一個個體啦，如果我哋去忽略咗其中一項或者多過一項嘅話咧，咁我哋生命會有啲不平衡嘅狀態。
Okay. We want to clarify our values.
咁我哋想去到釐清自己嘅價值。
And this clarification, you could say, it's all done for us. We hear Shastra, we hear sadhus, we hear Guru. So they're telling us, these are the values.
咁可能我哋從經典啦、聖人啦或者 Guru 嗰度去聽到呢啲就係即展示俾我睇呢啲價值喺度。
But there's a problem there.
但係有一個問題係。
And the problem is when something's coming from outside, it's not necessarily going all the way in.
咁個問題就係你喺外面聽到嘅呢一啲嘢，外在聽到嘅呢一啲嘢，唔代表佢會進入你裏面。
Or we may, thinking, I have to internalize this. We may find ourselves having some strange anxieties.
咁有時我哋可能會有一種焦慮，就係我點樣可以將呢啲嘅價值去到放入我自己裏面。
You could say that values are imbibed generally in 2 ways. One is moralizing.
咁一般咧價值咧係用2種方法嘅，去到建立嘅。一種咧就係透過將佢道德化。
Where someone says, this is good and this is bad.
譬如有人話呢個係啱嘅，呢個係好嘅，呢個係唔好嘅。
Whether it's parents or whoever.
可能係父母啦會講呢啲説話。
And the other way we receive values is from models.
另外一種方法，我哋去到接受呢一啲嘅價值咧，就係透過典範一啲嘅榜樣。
Model persons.
佢一個榜樣一個人物啦。
And of course it starts with our parents generally.
咁當然一般就係我哋嘅父母，佢哋即係以身作則，佢哋身教開始。
And it might end with movie stars.
咁可能最後呢啲榜樣就成為係呢啲電影嘅明星。
Like they have on exhibit in the little park over.
咁喺尖沙咀嗰海旁個平台個公園好多呢啲電影明星。
But all of this is not really enough for us. We need to do something more, and that is value clarification.
咁除咗呢啲之外，都唔足夠嘅。我哋再要去到做就係要去到釐清翻我哋自己嘅價值。
And how do we do this? Well, We have 3 things that indicate our values.
咁有3樣嘢咧可以去到即係去到
We have our feelings,
譬如我哋嘅可以點可以indicate
our
表
emotions.
指示我哋嘅呢啲嘅價值。譬如我哋第一就係我哋嘅感受啦。
We have general attitudes,
我哋一般嘅態度啦、取態。
and there's also our actions, our behavior.
咁跟住之後就係我哋嘅行動，我哋嘅行為。
So these are all indicating our values, but they're not our values as such.
咁所以以上嘅呢一啲咧，其實係去到展示出我哋嘅價值，但係佢就本身就唔係價值。
So there's 2 things that we can aim for.
咁有2樣嘢我哋可以定立為目標嘅。
One is that we do what we value,
咁就係從事嗰啲我哋覺得係有價值嘅事情。
and the other is that we value what we do.
咁另外一個層面就係我哋去到重視我哋所做緊嘅嘢。
Does that make sense? You do what you value, and you value what you do.
咁所以你做你覺得有價值嘅事情，但係同一時間亦都去到珍惜你而家所做緊嘅嘢。
Now, this suggests, it starts to suggest we're going beyond survival.
咁呢樣嘢我所講咧係喺我哋生存以外嘅以上嘅。
Most of most of our lives, we're spending our lives with what one person has called the instrumental body or instrumental identity.
咁所以我哋生命可能好大部分咧都係去到處理我哋呢一個嘅工具性嘅一個身體一個身份。
It's the identity that's doing the eating, sleeping, mating, defending, and everything else related.
咁所以呢一個工具性嘅意思就係食啦、瞓啦、呢個防衞同埋交配。
All of which
所有有關嘅。
all of which we need to do because we have material bodies.
咁呢啲我哋都需要去到做嘅，因為我哋又有呢個物質嘅身體。
And we know that that's by no means the whole story. That's why we're here.
咁我哋都知道呢個就係個故事，就係點解我哋會喺呢一度今日。
Because we understand that we are spirit soul, we are eternal beings, so that identity of the body is temporary.
因為我哋知道我哋係永恆嘅，我哋係靈魂嚟嘅，身體呢一個身份係短暫。
Value indicators can include goals or purposes, as you have been writing, sort of things you'd like to happen in the rest of your life.
所以頭先我哋做嗰個練習咧，寫咧我哋希望我哋之後嘅人生會發生嘅一啲事情咧，其實就係去表示到我哋嘅一啲嘅價值觀。
And as I said, attitudes and feelings.
咁我哋嘅態度啦，我哋嘅感受啦。
But also your convictions.
仲有你嘅信念。
A conviction is something that's non-negotiable. This is how it is.
咁所以信念咧係冇一個妥協嘅餘地嘅，係咁就係咁嘅。
But also your worries and your what you feel is a problem, problems. These are also indicating values.
或者可能你嘅一啲嘅憂慮啦，一啲面對一啲嘅問題啦，呢啲都係一啲價值觀嘅一啲指標嚟嘅。
So all of those are just indicating, they're pointing to what's the value.
咁所以所有呢啲都係去到指向你嘅價值係乜嘢，係啲指標嚟。
But now, what qualifies something as a real value?
咁有啲乜嘢先至可以成為有資格成為你即係嗰個真正嘅價值咧？
Do you want to know?
想唔想知道？頭先嗰啲都係指標嚟。
There are 7 elements.
咁有7項嘅價值。
It must be chosen freely.
咁咧要係自由去到選擇嘅。
That's the first point.
呢個第一點，你要自由去到選擇。
Second, it must be chosen from among alternatives.
Among alternatives 係要有唔同嘅選擇俾你去到揀嘅。
What does it mean, right?
That means there's different possible options, and you're choosing from among them.
咁意思即係話有唔同嘅選擇喺你面前啦，然之後你喺當
If
中去到
there's
挑
only
選。
one option, then you're not really choosing.
如果得一個選擇，咁你就冇選擇可言啦。
That was brilliant.
Choose freely means it's not imposed.
Yes.
咁第一點就係你可以自由選擇，即係冇人逼你去做呢個選擇，你自願嘅。
Okay. Third point. It must be chosen after due reflection.
咁係要透過你自己反思之後去到做呢一個選擇嘅，
Give yourself time.
要俾自己時間去到做出呢個選擇。
Fourth, it must be prized and cherished.
咁係要係去到珍惜呢一個嘅選擇嘅 price。
It should be dear to your heart.
咁要係你跟隨你自己內心
When we say value, like
真誠。
something valuable, that means prized.
咁所以係要好好珍重嘅呢一樣嘢，對於你嚟講。
Fifth, very interesting one.
第五點好有趣，
It must be publicly affirmed.
要公開咁樣去到確立嘅。
Now, public doesn't mean you go out in the street and shout it
唔係上街度大叫，
to the world,
公告全世界，唔係咁嘅意思。
but to some other person or persons.
咁或者係意思係同你身邊嘅某一啲人。
Number 6, it must be acted upon repeatedly.
咁第六樣咧就係要不斷重複咁樣去到做嘅。
Okay. And finally, it must be consistent with your other values.
咁就係佢要同你其他嘅一啲價值咧係要共同嘅、共通嘅，即係唔會違背其他嘅價值。
Okay, now that's what we say in English is a tall order. Not so easy to establish genuine values.
咁所以如果要建立呢個真正嘅一啲價值咧，要跟隨頭先我哋講嗰啲步驟。
But what I would suggest is a good starting point in thinking about our values is back to the Purusharthas.
咁所以當我哋去到諗我哋自己嘅呢啲價值嘅時候，可以翻返去頭先我哋一開始講到嘅 Purushartha。
And think about how each of these 4 components could function in relation to or could somehow support or aid in getting to the 5th value.
咁我哋可以諗下外圍嗰4個 Artha 啦，點樣可以幫助協助我哋去到達至第5個 Rama。
Yeah? Does that make any sense?
明唔明？合唔合理呢個？
So what you could do on your own is go back over your timeline and the things that you found valuable, significant from up until the present, and then what it is that you are thinking would be important, valuable, desirable from now till the end of life.
咁我哋而家翻返頭先我哋嗰條生命線嗰度，我哋一開始從出生啦到而家啦，我哋覺得一啲重要嘅事情啦，到我哋從而家去到將來，我哋覺得重要嘅事情，或者我哋想要獲得嘅、達到嘅。
And try to think of these in terms of Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, and then pray.
咁我哋試下將頭先我哋生命線上面寫嘅嘢套入去呢個Purusha Artha， 即係嗰4項啦，同埋 Prema 5項當中。
Yeah. Now, if we don't have clear values, what happens?
如果我哋冇一個好清晰嘅價值觀，會發生咩事呢？
We tend to become apathetic. Apathy.
無動於衷，無動於衷。Not like indifference.
Yeah, it's a kind of indifference, which is the mantra of apathy is I can't do it.
咁嗰啲呢類人咧，佢就會話我做唔到，做唔到。
I can't be happy. I can't attain Krishna prema. I can't.
所以佢哋會不停咁樣講，做唔到，我做唔到，我唔會變得開心，我唔會變得有 Krishna 之覺。
But if the values are clear, then we can work toward them. We can actualize them. We can make them happen.
但係如果我哋自己個價值觀係好清晰嘅話咧，我哋就可以實現嗰個價值。
Unclear habits also lead to drifting.
咁所以如果我哋嘅價值唔清晰嘅話咧，都會導致我哋會隨波逐流。
Yeah. Okay. So far, we've been thinking about all of this in individual terms, our own individual separate lives.
咁我哋到而家為止，我哋一齊即係去經歷嘅呢一啲練習咧，都係個人嘅層面去做嘅。
But of course, we are not isolated beings.
咁當然我哋
families, we are members of the family of devotees.
咁我哋係喺一個奉獻者嘅家庭裏面嘅，所以我哋並唔係孤單嘅。
And we also see our identity, some of us more, some of us less perhaps, in relation to the mission that has been defined by Srila Prabhupada.
咁我哋可能或多或少啦，都會同聖巴巴帕嘅使命啦，去到聯繫上。聖巴巴帕。
It's so sweet. So, what I think can also be an aid in this meditation on our individual clarification of values is to then look at the aims, which we can say is also the values of ISKCON, the official 7 purposes.
咁所以我哋除咗睇我哋自己個人嘅呢一啲嘅價值觀之外咧，我哋都可以一齊去睇一睇 ISKCON 佢哋嘅所講嘅7個嘅呢個創會嘅目標目的。
So you've heard these before, but just for a reminder.
咁可能之前都聽過，有7個使命。
First is to systematically propagate spiritual knowledge to society at large.
咁就係向呢個社會啦，去到推廣呢一個嘅靈性嘅知識。
And to educate all peoples in the techniques of spiritual life.
然之後咧，教導人們咧呢一個靈性嘅技巧。
In order to check the imbalance of values in life.
咁咧係去到防止啦、杜絕啦呢一啲嘅生命嘅唔平衡嘅狀態。
And to achieve real unity and peace in the world.
最終咧係達至呢一個世界嘅真正嘅和平同埋團結。
Notice Prabhupada speaks about checking the imbalance of values.
咁所以我哋可以留意到聖泡泡有提到我哋要去到防止啦、杜絕呢一啲嘅價值觀嘅唔平衡。
He doesn't say to eliminate values.
佢並冇話要去到唔要即係摒除呢一啲嘅價值。
He doesn't say we should get rid of kama and artha.
咁聖泡泡冇講過話我哋要去到將呢一個嘅經濟發展啦同埋慾望啦享樂咧係摒除嘅。
No, it says check the imbalance.
佢個講法就係去到阻止呢一種嘅不平衡嘅狀態。
Notice also this first one, he doesn't mention Krishna at all.
咁我哋另外留意就係佢喺第一個宗旨嗰度係完全冇提過 Krishna 嘅。
So it's very inclusive.
咁所以係好有包容性
It's
嘅。
very non-sectarian.
係唔分宗派嘅。唔分宗派。
Okay, the second one, to propagate a consciousness of Krishna.
去推廣 Krishna 之覺意識。
As it is revealed in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam.
咁係喺《博家梵歌》同埋《博家雅談》中揭示嘅。
So that's pretty clear.
咁呢個係好清晰。
And it's quite definitely defined in terms of texts of the Dhamma.
咁所以係指明係邊一啲嘅文獻，就係《博家梵歌》同埋《博家雅談》。
Third, to bring the members of the society together with each other and nearer to Krishna.
咁然之後係將協裏面嘅成員啦，去到更加緊密啦，然之後係去到更加親近 Krishna。
Who is the prime entity?
咁咧佢係最原初嘅一個嘅人物啊。
That's very much Bhaktisiddhanta style language.
咁呢個係Bhaktisiddhanta 嘅呢種即係用呢個原初嘅生物。
Thus, to develop the idea within the members.
咁然之後喺會員之間啦、成員之間啦，係有一種嘅概念。
And humanity at large.
咁唔單止會員之間啦，而且係人類全人類。
That each soul is part and parcel of the quality of Godhead, Krishna.
咁就意識到每一個靈魂咧都係 Krishna 嘅不可或缺嘅一部分，喺個質上面嚟
And
講。
then the fourth, to teach and encourage the Sankirtan.
咁第四項咧就係去到教導啦，同埋去到鼓勵呢一個齊眾聲明嘅運動。
Congregational chanting of the holy name of God.
咁就係齊眾聲明。
Notice here it says God, it doesn't say Krishna.
咁呢度咧用嘅字咧聖名係講神嘅聖名，就冇用到 Krishna 呢個字嘅。
As revealed in the teachings of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
咁呢個教導咧就係由主隨吞人Mahaprabhu所帶嚟俾我哋。
And the next one, to erect for the members and for society at large a holy place of transcendental pastimes.
然之後去到建立一個給予會員啦，同埋呢個協會啦嘅一個聖地、朝聖嘅地方。
Dedicated to the personality of Krishna.
咁係將佢獻俾至尊人格守神 Krishna。
So it's making a location for coming to you.
咁所以係一個實際嘅一個地方啦，讓到成員可以聚埋一齊。
Next, to bring the members closer together for the purpose of teaching a simpler and more natural way of life.
然之後咧係去到教導協會嘅成員啦，一個更加自然啦同埋簡樸嘅生活。
And the last purpose, with a view toward achieving the aforementioned purposes, to publish and distribute periodicals, magazines, books, and good writings.
咁所以為咗達至以上嘅幾個宗旨咧，咁就係要去到持續咁樣去到出版啦，同埋派發呢一啲嘅雜誌啦、文章啦、書籍啦、寫作啦。
Now, we might think, right, these are our purposes, and then I have my purposes here.
咁我
How
哋
do
就
they fit together?
咁我哋就諗，係呢啲係ISKCON 嘅宗旨啦，但係我都有我自己嘅宗旨喎。咁兩者之間點樣去到配合咧？
Do they fit together?
佢哋係咪真係可以配合到、吻合到咧？
Should they fit together?
係咪需要去到將兩者要去到聯繫咧、吻合咧？
If they fit, how do they fit?
如果真係可以吻合到嘅話，點樣吻合法咧？
So we may feel some tension.
咁可能有少少嘅好似膠着嘅狀態。
Because we might feel, I should be having only these 7 purposes. I shouldn't have any of my own purposes.
咁可能會諗，我就係要跟隨呢7個宗旨，其他嘅宗旨我就唔會跟啦。
Yes, that might be, but we don't live our lives very much. We don't get very far just with should.
咁如果我哋淨係諗住應該嘅話，我哋唔會行得好遠咯。
So what I'm suggesting again from this little chart is let's see where we are.
咁我哋由頭先我哋畫嗰個圖啦，我哋睇我哋自己喺邊一個嘅位置。
In reality, today on the 24th of February.
咁喺今日啦，2月24號，2018年啦。
And where have we been?
咁我哋之前嘅人生。
And where are we going?
將來嘅人生。我哋
And then just maybe from this kind of reflection, we can find more effective ways for our own personal lives to become spiritualized.
咁所以當我哋去到審視我哋過去啦，或者將來啦，去幫助我哋喺我哋嘅靈修裏面啦，能夠去到 find the purposes. The latter part. Spiritual practice.
Our lives.
How our lives may become spiritualized.
我哋嘅生命點樣可以變得更加靈性
And how we can indeed individually, but then how can we more effectively come together for the mission of outreach.
咁所以我哋自己個人啦，擴展到呢一個嘅團隊啦，或者團體啦，點樣可以係去到傳教啦，或者我哋所講嘅嗰啲宗旨啊。
So it's an exercise in reaching in, especially on the level of clarifying values.
咁所以頭先我哋做嘅練習就係首先我哋去向內去到探索啦，去到釐清翻自己嘅價值。
And having clarified our personal values, can I be more effective as playing my small part in the community of devotees?
咁所以當我去到釐清翻清楚翻我自己嘅價值嘅時候，咁喺呢一個奉獻者嗰個羣體裏面啦，我點樣可以我有一個咩嘅角色咧？
In harmony with the community's purpose or purposes, 7 purposes.
咁係做到同呢一個即係團體啦嘅宗旨啦係吻合嘅，即係一致嘅，我哋自己嘅價值同埋團體嘅價值。
Okay, so I will end there, but I'll suggest you keep these sheets that you have been writing.
咁我哋今日就到呢度差唔多啦，但係我就會提議大家將嗰張紙留低。
Have a look at it again, maybe tomorrow, and then maybe next week.
咁可能聽日再睇一睇啦，或者下個禮拜再拎翻嚟睇一睇。
And maybe you want to make some revision.
咁可能想做一啲溫習複習。
Or addition.
或者可能想補充一啲嘢。
You could make further notes.
或者可能再想寫多少少。
There's lots of things you could do with this.
咁你可以之後可以其他嘢都可以做。
You could laminate it.
你可以將佢過膠。
And you can also write, daily goals and weekly goals and things like that.
咁你可以為自己設立一啲嘅目標啦，去每一日嘅一啲目標啦，或者一星期嘅目標啦。
The whole idea is clarification. What am I all about?
所以今日講嘅重點就係釐清翻，究竟我做緊啲乜嘢，個人生係點樣。
Yeah, the time is passing.
我哋知道時間消逝。
And yeah, maybe Lord Brahma gives us 100 years. Maybe.
可能主 Brahma 真係俾我哋100歲命。
But maybe we should wait around to find out.
但係唔好等，睇下係咪真係啦。
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Is there any burning question or comments?
有冇啲問題好想問？
Any thoughts? Any complaints? Suggestions? Was this a good thing? Good exercise?
大家覺得呢個練習有冇用？幫唔幫到？
Yes. A follow-up. Oh, that's an interesting. Yeah.
我哋可以
Tom is suggesting a follow-up.
咁或者我哋會唔會可能之後可以做一個建築啊？即係去到
We're coming back at the end of March.
咁我哋March 會3月尾嘅時候會翻嚟，咁我哋可以做一個回顧咁樣咯，好冇
Who wants to do that? Okay. But if we have to commit to this now. Not that we do it again. Yes. Not that we come and there's only 2 of you here.
咁我哋再翻嚟嘅時候，唔好得翻2丁人。
We'll make a roll call.
要點
we
名。
have to freely choose. And we have choice of different alternatives. One is to come and one is to not come.
頭先我哋講到話，要有選擇噶嘛，咁2個選擇嚟同埋唔嚟，
Yes.
同埋要俾啲時間俾你諗下。
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Mark, when you say one of the indicators of values is general attitude, means what the common people think about. Is it?
No, it can be a lot of things.
咁頭先頭先講到呢個價值嘅指標啦，其中一點咧就係一般嘅一啲態度取態。
It could be your attitude toward other persons.
或者你可能點樣去到對待其他嘅人咧嘅態度啦。
It could be your political attitudes.
或者可能你政治嘅取態啦。
It could be, what else could be? Attitude, sort of like worldview.
你嘅世界觀。
A lot of our attitudes are more unconscious than they are conscious.
咁有好多嘅呢啲嘅取態係冇意識嘅，即係並係冇意識多過有意識。
But you could speak also of a winning attitude versus a losing attitude.
或者一種勝利嘅心態啦，或者一種即係失敗嘅心態，
Or
贏輸嘅心態。
an attitude of curiosity,
一種好奇嘅心態。
inquisitiveness.
好奇。
Okay. Okay. Oh, yes.
If the value after careful consideration and reflection you consider is true values, but then when you face challenges and you fail the challenges to uphold the values, so would it be no longer a true value?
Interesting question.
咁個問題就係，譬如你覺得有啲價值你想去到即係維護嘅，咁但係你又面對一啲困難喎，咁最尾你冇辦法去到維護到呢一個價值啦。咁嗰個價值仲可唔可以視為係一個真正嘅價值呢？
It would not cancel it out. Certainly you're serious about realizing the value.
咁唔會話被剔除嘅，因為你係好認真咁樣去到對待呢一個價值。
And as the Christians say, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak.
咁喺基督教就有一種講法就係話，你嗰個叫咩精神係喺度嘅，但係你個肉身係好虛弱。
So I would say it's a true value in the making. You're working on it.
咁我會講話當如果你係努力去到嘗試嘅話，咁都係一個你追隨嘅真正嘅價值。
And you're at the same time being honest with yourself. I'm not there yet.
咁但係同一時間都對自己誠實啦，我未去到嗰度。
But I want this to become a true value.
但係我希望佢會成為一個真正嘅價值。
Sometimes circumstances are overpowering. Yeah, the whole Mahabharata is about that.
咁但係有時我哋面對嘅處境，我哋有時會身不由己咧。
The whole Mahabharata is about how Dharma, how nobody can ever quite make it with Dharma.
咁整個呢個 Mahabharata 就係講話呢個即係宗教嘅呢個職責，點樣去到履行呢個職責。
Yeah, in one sense you can say it's very simple for devotees. We have one true value that we're aiming for, and that is Krishna prema.
咁所以對於奉獻者嚟講，可以話好簡單嘅，有一個價值就係 Krishna prema， 對 Krishna 純粹嘅愛。
But we have material bodies. We are in this world, in a society with so many expectations and so on.
咁但係同一時間，我哋身處喺呢一個世界啦，喺呢一個協會裏面咧，有好多面對好多嘅期望。
And we have to negotiate so many things through life.
咁我哋喺人生裏面有好多時候都要去到掙扎啊，要去到妥協啊，或者。
So what we want to see is how the Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha elements can be supportive of Krishna prema rather than drawing us away from our one ultimate artha.
咁所以我哋睇嗰4個嘅 artha， 我哋就可以思考佢哋點樣可以幫助我哋達至中間嘅 prema， 就唔係令到我哋即係遠離呢個 prema。
And also I would suggest that I made the arrows pointing outward from the circle. We might also add arrows from Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha going both outward and inward.
咁所以個箭嘴除咗係向外嗰4個箭嘴之外，我哋都可以加多4個箭嘴，係嗰4個 artha 啦，指向 prema。
In other words, the outreach also goes through these different activities for arthas.
咁所以當我哋去到傳教對外傳教嘅時候，都會去到會穿越呢4個 artha。
In that sense, for example, the vast majority of people can't relate to Krishna prema as such at all, but they can relate to one or another form of Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha.
咁因為一般出面嘅人咧，佢哋冇辦法去到理解呢個 Krishna prema 啦。咁但係佢哋另外外圍嗰4個咧，佢哋可以去到聯繫上嘅。
So we offer so many things to help people come through these principles, these arthas, into Krishna prema.
咁所以我哋帶領嗰啲人由呢4個 artha 啦進入Krishna prema。
So that's why I think it's so much more helpful to think in such terms, that it's like a circle and the center is Krishna prema.
所以我覺得咁樣去到擺放嗰4個 artha 啦，然之後咧將 prema 擺喺中間，會更加好去理解。
say thank you all very much for taking part.
多謝大家嘅參與。
And Shri Gaurnitai Ananta Gopti Vaishnavinda Ki Krishna Prema Ki Gaur Premanande. My favorite song, No Life.